All right, we're here with men's basketball coach for the Lincoln Blue Tigers, John Redmond. Coach, on Wednesday you'll be playing Washburn, and that'll mark the halfway point of your MIAA season. Now that you're at the halfway point and you're a little over, halfway through the season, do you think you have a better sense of your team and your players and their roles?
Yes, I do. Dan, I think I understand what they're supposed to do. The biggest thing is they maintaining what their roles is. As you know, basketball players or athletes of any kind get to the point where they forget what their strength and what their weaknesses is, and trying to do things that they can't do. If we maintain and continue to understand what's expected of us individually, I think that'll help the whole team.
Your team got off to a little bit of a rough start, but you had a lot of new players. You only had a couple people returning from last year, and one of those players, Cedric, didn't even play the first few games. But you've won 2 of your last 3 games. Do you get the sense that your team's improving?
Yes, I do. I think now, overall, I think that, sometimes it takes a semester. I wish it hadn't. With new kids, sometimes it takes them a little longer to understand the system and what's expected of them. But most of all, I think what has happened is that, we got some wins on the road that really help us to build our confidence. And I think right now that confidence is where it should be going into the second half of the conference.
Well, one thing that I've noticed is, especially in the last 3 games, your defense has been starting to play really well. What's been the key to getting that play out of your players?
Well, I think right now the biggest thing is getting players to continue to follow the game plan. And as you know, athletes has a tendency, as the game gets started and things look a little rough, they tend to get out of what the game plan is. A good example, I was sitting around last night watching Kansas and Baylor. And the biggest thing I was listening to was when Coach Self walked off the floor at halftime, and they asked him what did he thought about the first half, and he said, well, I think we got away from our game plan. And I think that's the same thing with our players, is that once they understand if you stick with the game plan, things work. And defensively, we'll start to do some things that play within ourselves that we're capable of playing. Instead of trying to do what everybody else do, I'm trying to put things in that fits us. Overall, I don't, honestly, at times I don't think we're a team that can play man-to-man for 40 minutes. I think that's just something this team can't do as well. So what I've been doing up to this point is alternating what kind of defenses that we can play, and I think that's helped us. But the biggest things is have gave other teams a problem, because most teams, as you know, in this conference, everybody plays man-to-man, and I've been switching up, so I think that helps us out.
Okay, well, at the beginning of the season, you used a lot of different starting lineup combinations, trying to figure out something that would work. The last few games, though, you've been using pretty much the same players. Do you think you've got an idea now on who your starters are, or is that something that you're going to continue to evaluate?
Well, I think right now I know who they are. As you know, I lost a starter Saturday. Trent Littlejohn, Saturday was his last game, so now I have to replace one. But overall, I have 4 that has been starting up to this point. I'm going to continue to go with. And as you know, James Edmond was in the starting lineup until I decided to go small. I'm going to put him back in the lineup Wednesday night because of the experience he has had there. And hopefully we won't miss a beat with that. And then on top of that he becomes another shooter in there. Overall, I think it's going to be a plus. The only thing about that is getting James to understand you got to play defense and rebound, being at 6'8".
All right, well, like I said, Wednesday you're playing Washburn. You're going to wrap up the first half of the season. On Saturday you play Fort Hays State again for the second time this year.
Right.
Obviously, you've talked all season about how your goal is to just be one of the 8 teams to get into the postseason tournament, but now that you've had some time to evaluate your players to kind of see where they stack up against the rest of the league, what other kind of goals have you set for the last half of the season?
Well, again, the goals we set is get more wins I think that's one of the biggest thing. You know, and the reason I put so much emphasis on the conference tournament because that's a way to talk about wins without going directly at the players. Give them a goal and just say W's. Uh, my biggest thing's been for the last couple of months is saying, making history, doing something they haven't done here in a while. You know, and that's those kind of things I've been using to motivate the players. Let's do something that hasn't happened here. I don't talk about W's far as just win outright this or that. I talk about getting into the MIAA, giving them a challenge, giving them something to shoot for. You know, anybody can just say win. But in our case, I think winning has a lot to do with getting in that tournament because if you win games, you're going to get there. So you compensate what's important and what you need to do. And I think right now what we need to do is continue to keep our goals set on that. And with that goal, that gives them a little fight that, you know, winning is important. Without me every day at practice, win, 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 win. So all I say at practice is conference tournament. Every day I come in and let them know where we are, how they stand, what game is coming up, and what we have to do in that game. Because right now, my philosophy is with each kid and this team is we can't worry about what everybody else is doing. Dan, we have to worry about what we're doing. I know everybody know this is a tough conference. Everybody know that on any given night somebody can win or lose. My question and my thing to them is what we got to do to get our W's. We have to be responsible for ourselves. If you know, right now I haven't been looking at the MIAA website to see where we stand. I just feel like if we take care of our own business, I think everything will be fine. You know, it's tough, but I think we at a home stretch where we don't play everybody once, and the kids got a little feel that they're capable of beating anybody on any night. And I think that was important for us. I mean, other than a couple of games early in the season in the conference where we literally just got beat, I think that had a lot to do with, like you said, changes in lineup every game, not understanding what we want to do. But at this present time, I think we understand, and I think the kids understand that they can compete with anybody.
All right, Coach. Well, good luck this week, and thanks for your time.